Hello children, welcome to everyone in my online chemistry class. Children, in my previous lecture, you had studied about the discovery of electron, about cathode ray tube, about cathode rays, properties of cathode rays, and in today's lecture and in the continuation of the same chapter, that is structure of the atom, we are going to learn other point of the chapter, that is discovery of proton. From earlier knowledge, you all are knowing about protons, as protons is a positively charged particle. It is present in the nucleus of the atom and it is discovered by Goldstein in 1886. But how this subatomic particle of an atom is discovered? So let's start with the discovery of proton. So children, as in the case of discovery of electron, we had constructed there a discharge tube or cathode ray tube in the same way. Here we also use that is discharge tube, or you can say cathode ray discharge tube, but a little modification is made here. Little modification is made, and that modification is what? The modification is that in the case of discovery of cathode rays or electrons, we were using simple cathode, but here we are going to use a perforated cathode instead of a simple disc cathode, and the pressure of the gas is not too much less. Means the pressure of the gas in this discovery of subatomic particle should be of the order 0.1 mm or 0.1 millimeter, or in the form of power you can write 10 to the power minus 1 millimeter, while in that case of electron was that is of the order 10 to the power minus 2 to 10 to the power minus 3 millimeter pressure there was. But here the pressure which we have to use here is not too much less. That should be of the order 10 to the power minus 1 mm or 0.1 mm of the pressure. And one more important modification we have to make here, that in place of plain disc cathode, here we are going to use perforated cathode. Perforated means the cathode which having holes, which having small holes under it, is termed perforated cathode, this one. And this perforated cathode is connected with a high voltage power supply and with anode also. So what is discharge tube? As usual, discharge tube is made up of perfectly leak-proof glass tube in which metallic electrodes, two metallic electrodes are fused inside the tube. Among them, one is anode and one other is a cathode. And this tube is connected with a high voltage power supply having voltage in between 5000 volt to 10,000 volt, and the pressure and the gas which we have to examine, and the gas which we have to examine are steady, are filled under the discharge tube. That is, these are the gases which are filled for the study, or you can say for the discovery of proton. Alright. So what happens? And one more point. This discharge tube is connected with a high vacuum pump which can reduce the pressure of the gas. Alright. So once again I am demanding the experiment of that discharge tube concerned to discovery of proton. This discharge tube is made up of perfectly leak-proof glass tubes in which metallic electrodes are fused on the two sides of tube, in which one is a positive called anode, other is a negative or perforated cathode, and they are connected with a high voltage power supply of the voltage having 5000 to 10,000 volt, and this tube is connected with a high vacuum pump for reducing the pressure of the gas, and the gas which we have to study or we have to examine is filled under a tube, and the pressure of the gas should be not too much less, and that should be of the order that is 0.1 mm to 10 to the power minus 1 mm. Now what happens? So when high voltage power supply is applied at very low pressure, then a colored ray is produced on the opposite side of this anode. Opposite side of the anode. This is glowing. Colored glow is appeared on the opposite side of this anode, and this colored glow is nothing. They were the stream or canal. They were moving in the form of stream or canal. They were called, that is, canal rays. They were called canal rays, and since they were emanated or originated from anodes, that's why they are also termed anode rays. Since the anode rays are, you can say, anode rays are that is canal rays are associated or composed with positively charged particles. That's why these rays are also called positive rays. So three names are coming here. That is anode rays, canal rays, and positive rays. So why this name is taken? Since the glow, colored glow on the opposite side of anode is coming due to the fast moving rays which were called anode rays. Why they are called anode rays? Because they are either emanated or originated from anode. That one. That's why they are called anode rays, or they move in the form of stream, or you can say in the form of canal. So that's why these rays are also termed canal rays. And anode rays or canal rays are composed with a positively charged particles. That's why these are also called positive rays. Concept clear, children? Why these names are taken? And the positive rays or canal rays, which we are saying that associated with a or composed with a small particle or positive particles, so that particles were called proton by Goldstein. That positive charged particles which were composed in positive rays or canal rays or anode rays were called protons. represented by simply either P or by P plus or by 1H1, and this was discovered by Goldstein. This was discovered by Goldstein in 1886, right? So this is the discovery of proton. Now what are the properties of the anode or canal or positive ray? So first property of the anode rays, that is they travel in the straight line. Anode rays travel in the straight line. This is the first property. Second property is what? They are positively charged ions. They are positively charged ions. And third property you can say, that is anode rays or canal rays or positive rays are that is emanated or that is produced from anode. That's why they are called that is anode rays. So these are the some simple property of anode ray, and that is the discovery of proton given by Goldstein in 1886. Okay children, so must remember it. Just you have to know in mind that a simple modification you have to take in this charge tube, then you will be in position to know what is the difference between the discovery of electron and discovery of proton. Okay, so now come on the next point, that is discovery of other subatomic particle, that is neutron. Discovery of neutron. So you are knowing that subatomic particle neutron is discovered by James Chadwick. James Chadwick in 1932. And as you are knowing, neutron is a chargeless or neutral particle and obtained or produced by the artificial manner. So in this we are going to know how neutron is produced or how neutron is discovered. So children, in 1932, James Chadwick, an English chemist, take a thin foil of beryllium metal. He select or take a thin foil of beryllium metal, and by bombarding fast moving alpha particles, by the bombardment of alpha particles on the thin foil of beryllium, there is a highly penetrating radiation take place. Okay, and this radiation contains chargeless or you can say neutral particles, and that were called neutron. And that is the artificial method of discovery of neutron. Once again I am reminding the point. What happens when a thin foil of beryllium metal, as such, suppose we are taking this one beryllium metal 4Be9, thin foil of beryllium metal is bombarded with a fast moving alpha particles, and you are knowing that alpha particle is represented by this one. So this is beryllium metal, this is alpha particle, when this they are bombarded with a fast moving alpha particle, then what happens? A highly penetrating radiation are emitted, and that radiation consists of a new particle that is called neutron, which was chargeless, and you can say that is a neutral one called neutron, and along with a formation of new element take place as such. That is 6C12 plus 0N1. Okay? So this 0N1 is a neutron and having charge 0, mass of the neutron is nearly equal to the mass of proton, and the mass of neutron is what? The mass of neutron is, that is 1.675 into 10 to the power minus 24 grams, and the charge on the neutron is 0. Charge is 0, that's why it is called neutral particle, having mass nearly equal to, that is 1.675 into 10 to the power minus 24 gram, which is nearly equal to the mass of proton. As you are knowing, the mass of proton is what? That is mass of proton, that is what? That is 1.672 into 10 to the power minus 24 gram, and the charge on the proton is what? That is plus 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 90 coulomb. So the value of this mass of neutron is nearly equal to the mass of proton, or you can say approximately equal, slight difference between the mass of proton and neutrons. So these are the subatomic particles, that is electron, proton and neutrons. How they are discovered? That is, these are the manners. So must remember them. That is electron, proton, neutron. What is the difference between electron, proton and neutron? And what are the main differences between electron, proton and neutron? Alright? So one point you should know, what is the property of this subatomic particle neutron? So first property of neutron is a chargeless or neutral particle. Second property you can say, that is they are highly penetrating particles and they are unable to ionize the gas. And one more property you can say, that is they are made by artificial ones. They are artificially made one called neutron. Alright? So this is all about electron, proton and neutron. Children, in my next lecture, or you can say in my upcoming lecture, we will study atomic model, and in atomic model we have to start from Bohr's atomic model of the atom. The two models, that is Thomson model and the Rutherford model, is reduced due to the COVID. Means they are not mentioned now in current syllabus. So we have to study Bohr's atomic model of the atom at next step, and in that, what is the model of Bohr, how we will calculate the Bohr's radius, how we will calculate the mass of the smallest particles. So we will know in the case of Bohr's model. So children, that's all today. And one thing I want to tell you, that you are supporting me very well. That is, once again I am thanking you, and that is be ready for next lecture and make the notes of these points properly. So thank you very much. Have a super Monday.